I'm not going to play this video because YouTube are hypersensitive about bad language. But in this video, which any of you can go see on Twitter, Jermall Charlo basically comes out and insults Eddie Hearn, insults Danny Jacobs, and, well, he doesn't really insult Danny Jacobs. He calls him out and he insults Demetrius Andrade. Now, him calling out Danny Jacobs is a bit funny because Danny Jacobs confronted him face to face and Jermall Charlo didn't want no smoke. Let's be real. That video's online. And as far as what he says to Demetrius Andrade, come to the Wilder Fury fight, well, why would he need to do that to make a fight? I mean, this guy's just talking nonsense. I don't know if he was drunk in this particular video or what. But the main thing I want to talk about here is what he said about Eddie Hearn, because he basically exposes himself, or let me rewind. He basically, because that sounded off key, but he basically exposes the PBC fanboys who said that Eddie Hearn was lying about making Jermall Charlo an offer. Yeah, he exposes them, the jokers that they are. I mean, we all know that Eddie Hearn sent Jermall Charlo an offer. We saw Eddie Hearn come up with the email on screen on his phone. He showed it to Radio Raheem. But yet there's these PBC fanboys running around saying, Eddie Hearn's lying. It wasn't a real email. It wasn't a real offer. Yes, it was. Jermall Charlo has now come out and said, stop contacting me, Eddie. Talk to Al Heyman. Now, the reason this is so ridiculous is because, as Eddie Hearn explains in this interview, and I think in this interview as well, and you can see these interviews that Eddie Hearn is referencing on YouTube, Jermall Charlo was running around saying that he is his own boss, that Lions Only Promotions is, who you need to contact, which is him. And he was telling Eddie Hearn to holler at him directly in several videos. He gave Eddie Hearn his email address. If Eddie Hearn is not supposed to contact Jermall Charlo, why has Jermall Charlo given Eddie Hearn his email address? So he asks Eddie Hearn to contact him, to holler at him. Eddie Hearn does exactly that. He hollers at Jermall Charlo, he sends him an offer, and then Jermall Charlo doesn't respond to the offer. Then he takes to social media to start cussing out Eddie Hearn, saying, don't stop contacting me. Contact Al Heyman. If I was Hearn, I might even just forget about this guy altogether because he's clearly not serious. And somebody asked me to do a video on the PBC and how Al Heyman manages to brainwash his fighters to the extent that he does. I think that one of the reasons that Al Heyman's able to do this is because of the fighters that he retains. Yeah? Most of the fighters that Heyman has that behave like Charlo or Wilder, these are people with very low IQs. The Charlo, Wilder, the Adrian Broners of the world. These are really low IQ guys. Ghetto trash. That's how most of them come across. And even though Al Heyman is the opposite of that, Al Heyman's a highly educated man, very, very intelligent. He knows that these type of individuals are easy to manipulate. He also knows these type of individuals appeal to a certain demographic of the American audience and worldwide audience. As I said previously, within the black community in the UK, certainly, most of the Deontay Wilder fans are people who are impressed by the hood culture. Yeah? People who they might not necessarily be living in the hood themselves or be participating in any kind of hood activity, but they're just impressed by the hood culture. They're impressed by the hood mentality on some level. Those tend to be the people who, in the black community in the UK, are big-time Deontay Wilder fans. The most ignorant among the black community tend to be fans of Wilder. And Al Heyman understands that demographic will come out swinging in favor of their fighter. Al Heyman understands that demographic is very influential in terms of pop culture. So he's appealing to that demographic. He's appealing to an ignorant demographic of very young, impressionable people who are, again, impressed by the street culture, the hood culture. And so the fighters who are ignorant and impressionable, like the Charlos, like Wilder, he puts them front and center. which is why you see them coming out with nonsense like Jermall Charlo is here, like Deontay Wilder comes out with every day. And you've got people like Errol Spence who, you know, early on in his career, he wasn't coming across like that, but he's, again, impressionable. And he's fallen under the influence of people like the Charlos and Broner and all these kind of people, you know, Tank Davis. I mean, look at the stuff that some of these guys get involved in outside the ring. We're talking about guys who are millionaires and they're catching all kinds of cases like Broner has, like Tank Davis has. And Al Heyman enables this type of behavior. You understand? So, yeah, that's what that is. Again, if I was in Eddie Hearn's position, I might even just forget about this guy altogether because he's clearly not serious. But he says he's going to send an offer to Al Heyman. Again, one of the reasons he didn't contact Heyman in the first place is because Charlo asked him to contact him directly. He said he's his own boss. Well, if you're saying to now contact Heyman, then that will suggest that you're not your own boss, Jermall. And another reason that Eddie may not have contacted Heyman before is because he may have felt like the offer won't get to Charlo, that Heyman will just look at the offer and, you know, throw it in the bin because he doesn't want Charlo to go over and fight on DAZN. He certainly didn't want Deontay Wilder to go over and fight AJ on DAZN. So this is what you're dealing with PBC. There's some jokers over there, I'm telling you. They're really doing boxing a massive disservice at this stage. It's gone so pear-shaped over there with PBC. I'm hugely disappointed because I had high hopes for PBC. I think the vision that they presented to the boxing world when they initially launched was a great vision. But since that time, they've just turned into the biggest propaganda machine in the world of boxing, and they just spew out constant lies. It's just unbelievable with PBC. And they put these ignorant fighters front and center who just talk absolute rubbish. But again, they appeal to a certain demographic of unintelligent, mainly young people who are really impressed and enamored by the hood culture. That's what they do. Well, I'm from the hood. I'm from a rough environment. Yeah. And I'm not impressed by this. I don't live in the hood no more, but that's where I grew up. That's the environment I came up in. And that's one of the reasons I can see through it. See, a lot of the people that are impressed by the hood culture don't really understand the hood culture from the inside out. They don't really understand how fake a lot of it is. They don't really understand how some of the tough guys on the roads are not really that tough. I spoke about this in a previous video. Once you know certain things about what the hood really is about, you stop being so impressed by it. Yeah. At one stage in my life, I got to a point in my life where I realized, you know what, this hood stuff, this hood culture is just toxic. And really it's not even strong, it's weak. It's going to drag you down. And I mean, you look at the likes of, as I say, Tank Davis, Adrian Broner, they shouldn't be getting involved in half of the stuff they're getting involved in. What are you getting involved in stuff like that for? You're rich. Same way with Errol Spence, nearly lost his life because he's hanging around in clubs and drinking this and doing that and the other, which isn't necessarily exclusively a hood thing, but the ignorant attitude that comes with the hood culture, you can see that is infected Errol Spence's brain. The recklessness. It's such a shame because I really rate Errol Spence as a fighter, always have. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Jermall Charlo clowning himself. Let's be real, you playing yourself. Back in the 90s, there was a rapper called J. Rue the Damager. Well, he's still around now, but back then he was a pretty big name in hip hop music. And he did a track called You're Playing Yourself. Great track, by the way. Just look up J. Rue the Damager. It's spelled Jeru, and Damager is spelled Damaja. Yeah, J. Rue the Damager. And a track called You're Playing Yourself. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Jermall Charlo playing himself, really. He's playing himself in this video. We'll see if anything could be salvaged from the situation. Because, of course, I would like to see Demetrius Andrade or Danny Jacobs fight Charlo. But the way he's carrying on, he's under the Al Heyman mind control, a very ignorant, impressionable individual. And, yeah, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out. Hatman merch is now available. We got t-shirts, vests, hoodies, and more. Just click the link below. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.